6 of Hope in Hard Times. My dad used to chuckle about a couple that he married, and they chose a hymn for their wedding which read, "O God of Bethel, by whose hand thy people still are fed, who through this weary pilgrimage has all our fathers led." He wasn't too sure that that was a very good outlook on marriage. But I'm glad to see the new hymn book has changed the words to earthly pilgrimage. But it's a good hymn because it speaks of the faithfulness of God through all generations. We are not the first generation to go through hard times, and we certainly won't be the last. When the people of Israel were about to enter the promised land, God gave Moses these instructions about the first fruits of their harvest. Each year, they had to bring them and offer them to God as a reminder that he was the one who provided for them. But they were also given a little creed, and this creed they had to recite was like a potted version of their history, how it started with Abraham, how they went down to Egypt, became slaves, God freed them, and then brought them to this promised land. And then we also have psalms about the goodness of God to them, how he rescued them out of Egypt, led them through the desert, and led them to the land they now lived in. Because it was important for them to remember what God had done, to see that he'd been faithful with them and would always remain so. Human beings have a tendency to forget very quickly the people, the events that have helped them along the way. Because when times are tough, we start to focus on those tough times and we forget the blessings that we've had in the past. Now, the people of Israel were rescued from slavery in Egypt, and they saw amazing acts of God, splitting the Red Sea, providing water from a rock, providing manna and quails as food, and yet they were still very quick to grumble when things weren't going so well. We read in Exodus 15, they were only 3 days out from crossing the Red Sea, and they were starting to grumble to Moses, "We can't drink this water, it's bitter." But God was faithful. He showed Moses a stick and said, "Throw that in the water," and the water became drinkable. Now, I found 6 references to the people grumbling against Moses about all sorts of things. It seems that they just couldn't learn that God would provide for them, no matter what things looked like. And that's what we tend to do. We tend to be a bit the same. Hebrews 13:8 says, "Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever." And that's the nature of God. He does not change. Where he's been faithful to his people in the past, he will always be faithful. Where he has given strength to his people in the past, he will continue to do so. Where he's resolved problems in the past, he will continue to do so. Deuteronomy 32:4. He is the rock. His works are perfect, and all his ways are just. A faithful God who does no wrong. Upright and just is he. There is no more secure place for us to put our trust and our hope than in our God.